There are three things that when we're trying to explain why does email not work for somebody, it's one of three reasons. One is you have a bad list. Like straight up, the people on your list are not ideal customers for one reason or another. Either they don't live in your area, or they don't have money, or they're just not your ideal buyer that you want purchasing from you at all.
I want to give a huge shout out to Marcus Storm for sponsoring today's episode.
You've heard of Google Ads, Facebook ads, and SEO, but did you know that there's an entire ecosystem, like 80% of the internet, that ads can be served on that you barely heard about?
That's where Marcus Storm operates.
They leverage data science and AI to build customer profiles for your ideal customers and get your ads in front of prospects before they are ready to hire a pro, planting your brand in their minds early and often.
To chat with a team about how they can help you grow your business, visit marcusstorm.ai. Today's episode is powered by Rilla Voice.
Rilla has taken those cumbersome, time-consuming ride-alongs and streamlined the entire process by leveraging AI technology to do dozens or hundreds of ride-alongs virtually every single day.
They also provide you, the owner or manager, with the top performers KPI metrics designed easily for you to coach your team into rock stars.
Schedule a demo today at www.rilla.com.
If you're a contractor with multiple CSRs, check out this Service Business Mastery podcast partner, Lace.ai. Lace uses cutting-edge AI to analyze your phone calls, uncover lost revenue opportunities, and empower your CSRs to convert more leads. You can significantly increase revenue without spending extra on marketing or hiring by using Lace.ai to boost your conversion rates. For the first time, you can gain deep insights into customer needs at scale with minimal effort. Elevate your call center to achieve industry-leading booking rates and revenue. Visit www.lace.ai to book a demo today. Now back to the show.
Hello, everyone out there in podcast world. Hope you're having a great day. You are listening to or watching Service Business Mastery Podcast. We are live at the New Flat Rates Business Uncensored event in Chattanooga, Tennessee, 2024, October-ish.
Event 3 of 5 or 6 that we're going to this month. So that's why church doesn't know what day it is.
Or where I'm at.
Or what month it is.
But we have our good friend Zac Garside on the show today. You just gave a presentation this morning about email marketing and how you can do it as a business owner and how you can be successful at it. And the tips and tricks that you gave were amazing. I've done a webinar that you did. I was on the webinar that you hosted. Yeah. And the notes and things that I took from that were, it was great. A lot of people would say that email marketing is dead.
Everything's dead if you're not selling it.
It's not.
SEO is dead too. Yeah, that's what I've been. Yeah, SEO is dead. It's dying. Email's been dead for like 10 years now.
Yeah. What do you say to people that say stuff like that?
It depends. First of all, it depends on what mood I'm in. So I have like 4 different answers to that question. Sometimes when people, are like, email's dead, I'm like, probably. Yeah. Probably. I don't know.
Zac, for people that don't know you, could you do just a quick introduction on yourself and your experience in the trades?
Indeed. My name is Zac Garside. I started working in the trades in 2015. I worked for Power Selling Pros for 8 years. Wow. In every position from CSR coach, trainer, salesman, head of sales, head of marketing, CEO. And then a little over a year ago, I left and started my own business. Now I have an email marketing agency. Help contractors maximize the value of their email lists and increase their lifetime value of their customer.
That seems very niche. There are riches in the niches.
Yeah.
But
as far as I know, I don't know if anybody else is specializing in email for the trades.
Yeah, Josh was telling me about it a long time ago, and I was like, I've never heard of anybody doing that in the trades. That's really cool. What's the biggest thing that you've seen since starting that company, trend-wise? Are you seeing that the more you educate people on this, that they're doing it more or less, or what?
Going back to like the is email dead question, there's like some people I'm like, whatever, have fun. Or oftentimes I just say like, look, email is the cockroach of marketing. Like it has literally been there since the internet dawned.
Yeah.
And it is still, if you look at any 8 or 9 figure company in any industry, email is the number one revenue source.
I've seen the stats. Like, it is.
Believe that? I don't really not believe that at all. I would have probably argued it a little bit more until I read Alex Hormozy's book about was it $100 million sales or
$100 million
Leads
offers
or
from
offers
leads,
or one of the two.
Yeah. And it was just a like crazy. He was talking about email outreach,
Yeah, I think he was specifically talking about cold email outreach, because that's like these companies that are able to scale, figuring out an effective way. But the problem is, I mean, we all get hit up by this stuff. Cold, I know you're a big LinkedIn user. Cold DMs on LinkedIn.
Oh my God.
Which is great. You know what my favorite is? When you have 2 or 3 different contacts and you get the same exact message, so you know it's the same exact company that's sending the messages. It is hilarious. I look and they're like back to back, and I'm like, really? Like nothing different about you. But we all get hit up with so many cold emails and cold offers and stuff like that. But it's the standing out, and I think that's something, full disclosure. Now the podcast emails do not come from Zach, but the ones if you're on the Relentless Digital email marketing list, they do. Yes, yet we have talked about it, but they do come from Zach. And actually, it's funny. He got done with his talk today, and I go look at my phone. There's a Facebook message of the email that he wrote, and I have like that much input on any of this stuff, like very little, and honestly most of it is either a Voxer message, Zach asked me a question, or it's hey, looks at something I posted and is like, okay, I'm gonna turn it into a story. But it's like the power of those, it's not, especially in our industry, like the trades is more of like a direct response, like I need a call today type of thing, at least when they do, and then you can kind of nurture it with some branded stuff. But for us, it's a long sales cycle. People are in contracts. So but I hear all the time when we come to these shows and people say, oh man, I love your emails. I'm on your emails. I get them all the time. They're great.
It was a young lady that came up to me afterwards, and she was like, Josh's email and Tommy's are the only ones that I actually save and read. And she was like, there was a lot of similarities to what other should be. Whereas Zach's Josh's email, so
I know.
And she's like, oh, well, that makes a lot more sense.
Yep. So you should probably sign up for Zach Services, because those are the emails that you read.
Yeah, I don't just haunt Tommy's emails yet, but I should find out who does. No, I think that when you look at, again, I mentioned how when you look at really, really big companies, email is like the main driver. And that's easy to say on, again, low ticket stuff like e-commerce. Obviously, email lists are...
There's a lot of offers, special sales.
That's where all their sales come from, right? They front end,
because nobody knows
everything on.
They don't know about it. Social media is very expensive for them to try to get the word out to millions of people.
In contracting, basically, I like to say anything with a comma in the price tag is kind of like where I like to specialize.
Okay.
So with home service businesses, you're trying to get a phone call. I basically say email does 2 things. One, it makes it so people who are ready for service book now, and it makes it so people who are not ready only think of you when they are.
You say top of mind.
Yeah, you're staying top of mind, because attention, sometimes they're paying attention, sometimes they're not. But as long as you're showing up in their inbox consistently, once the problem becomes top of mind again, they know exactly who to call.
Zach, what would you tell people? So a lot of contractors, a lot of businesses try email. What are they doing wrong? What do you see are trends, maybe 3 to 5 things that they're doing wrong?
There are 3 things that when we're trying to explain why does email not work for somebody, it's 1 of 3 reasons. One is you have a bad list. Straight up, the people on your list are not ideal customers for one reason or another. Either they don't live in your area, or they don't have money, or they're just not your ideal buyer that you want purchasing from you at all. Because if you have a bad list, it doesn't matter how good your campaigns are. Nobody's going to respond. I have clients that I'll do identical campaigns for 2 different businesses. Identical campaigns, copy, similar services, and one will pull, a 50% open rate and get a bunch of business, and one, the open rate will be 15 to 20% and nothing. It's like, how do you explain the difference? And the difference is the quality of the list that we're sending to.
What do you tell people, especially because, cleaning up lists, this isn't something that typically most people are probably thinking about. Yeah. Well, and it's the same thing, because we help on the text message side of things, and people are like, when they see all the stops, or they see someone that's angry because they got a message, they're like, oh my God, it's like, it's like, I don't want to bug my customers. I don't want to piss off my customers.
I was going to ask that. Is there too many emails that get sent?
Here's the thing. Everybody argues that we have short attention spans. which is totally not true. We have short consideration spans. The amount of time that we will take to consider whether to give our attention to something is very short.
That's because we have a lot of options.
We have so many options. But once you decide to give your attention to something, I would argue we're in the greatest attention span ever. I mean, people will sit there for 10 hours and binge Stranger Things and YouTube.
If it is entertaining or if it's something that stays on, like,
have you ever dove into the R&R Buildings YouTube channel? They build pole barn buildings. So. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Dive in that rabbit hole.
You just get sucked in.
12 hours later, it's like, okay, I think I know how to build a pole barn. I've watched every one of the videos.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's interesting. And he's entertaining. And it's not just a boring, drab video.
I don't think there's too much. I think there's too much garbage. I think there's too much that's bad. Right?
Clickbaits.
Because there's so much in the way of like templates and cookie cutter. Try this.
What's
formula.
everybody gives away?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
here's
so
my
easy
best
to copy
30
paste
templates
something.
and use these and plug them and
It's
play.
such garbage because the biggest thing in marketing is context, right? Who is it for? What is it for? What is the context in which it's being consumed? Something that worked for company A, they're like, this email or this landing page or this ad, they killed it for us, made me $1 million. Come swipe this and use it. And company B is like, this is it, baby. This is our ticket. And like crickets, like absolutely nothing happens because the context is completely different. It's like, number one, the analogy that I always use when I explain this to people is, let's suppose I'm teaching you how to start a toilet paper business.
A what?
A toilet paper business.
Okay.
I'm like, I started a successful toilet paper business. I'm going to teach you how to build a successful toilet paper business now. And so I give you my playbook, like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. But there's a big problem. One is I started my toilet paper business in 2020 when this stuff was flying off the shelves. There was a shortage of it. And there was government money going into every single person in America's pockets. And on top of that, I have a huge safety net. I have a nest egg. I've got family and friends who are supporting me, a great network, a trust fund to back me up in case things don't work out. And you have none of those things. You're starting in
You're bootstrapping it. Yeah.
You're bootstrapped. You have no backup. Everybody tells you you're crazy. And if this fails, you're like, I'm going to lose everything.
Yeah.
So context is the most important thing in giving advice in marketing. And yet we keep going back to like swipes and templates and formulas.
Well, I don't think it, and I won't name, I mean, everyone knows there's one that has a marketing system, a CRM with a marketing system built in. That's what they do every month. They launch new templates. And I think, I understand the goal of it. The goal of it is to make it easier for the contractor so they actually use it and they stay on the platform. But then the problem is most of those are sales templates. And they got the pretty graphics and the stuff that honestly, like, I know better than anyone, blogs. Literally black and white text, no images, and that's it. Like, just what's in the
words about the 9-word email. Do you use that at all? I don't think so. I've seen the emails that you send that are that template.
I use it plenty. Like I use it especially in my autoresponder sequence when I get new leads. So when somebody comes onto my list, I have a welcome email. I have what's called the 6-hour email. I learned from this guy named Ian Stanley. So 6 hours after they opt in, the subject line is, did you get it? And the email is, hey, name, this is Zach. I noticed earlier you opted into my list to get this bonus. I just want to make sure you got that. You know, I never know if it's going to make it to the inbox or spam folder. Can you just reply and let me know?
That warms up that person right away.
Warms
too.
them up. Like I'm immediately getting a reply and starting a conversation, building the relationship with them. And obviously sending positive signals to Gmail. And I would do the same thing for a contracting business. It's like, hey, I sent you the appointment confirmation email earlier with like the detail. Did you get that? I just want to make sure you got that. I want to make sure you're totally taken care of. You don't have any questions.
Well, same thing can be done with estimate follow-ups too. Like, you know, I see that a lot where just like literally like even 30 minutes after the appointment closes, the job is completed as the trigger. And we send, hey, did you get the estimate? You get any questions? And anything that wasn't clear that my technician went over. But it's powerful just to get that engagement. They'll be like, no, yeah. I mean, they might ignore you, but it's just something to keep it warm.
Means out of Google to our Gmail,
that's huge now.
Massive, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
the clean list. Or
granted, this goes to that SEO data dump thing that they did, but they measure clicks and things like that with everything, especially if it's in a Chrome browser and all those types of things. So Google is measuring that stuff. Do we know what it's used for in email? No, but if they're measuring it, there's probably a reason, in that way your domain has a higher sending authority or whatever, but there's probably a reason.
Something to talk today about some of the larger, I don't even know what to call them, the mailing thing.
Platforms that you can send email from?
Yeah. And you mentioned that the problem with a handful of them that you have is the fact that there's a lot of people on the platform that they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So then it creates an issue for the entire platform.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't want to ask because I know we're going a little late there, but does it matter if that domain for say it's let's say it's Service Business Mastery's domains, and we're on, let's call it MailChimp. And there's other people on MailChimp who have caused bad issues with MailChimp itself. Does it not matter, if Service Business Mastery has a massively good reputation on the email domain versus what MailChimp has?
Yeah.
Does that play into it at all, or is it just going off of MailChimp's?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I know it's kind of deep.
No, I mean, yeah, that's like you're going into email MBA level, master's degree in email stuff here. But basically, you have your domain reputation,
Sure.
which is, are you legitimate? Are you safe? Do you send spam or do you send quality information? And then there is what's called the IP of the actual platforms you send from. So if you have, I'll use MailChimp as an example. If you have a MailChimp account, that's great. So do a million other businesses. And so MailChimp has all these different IPs that they send your emails from. So let's say you're on IP, we'll just, for the sake of simplicity, call it IP number 1. You and 20 other businesses potentially, unless you have a dedicated IP, but you have to have a big list, you have to have a very good reputation, and have been doing it a long time for them to give you your own IP.
It's kind
Or
of
pay more for it.
though, because you're battling the bad IPs until you get up there to the good IP.
You're sharing, or you can, I mean, there are platforms that will let you pay extra to get your own IP.
Okay.
But even then, if you're not, it's like this constant balancing act, because if you don't have a good enough, strong enough reputation, and you're the only person sending from that IP,
Not good either.
that's not good either, because you have
It could tank quick.
no reputation. Right?
Yeah.
They're like, we don't even know who this person is. What, this IP? This is.
So what's
then you're
different
gonna
about you?
spam.
Because you mentioned a couple that you recommended versus ones you didn't. What's different about them, or why did you recommend those?
In my mind, it comes down to 3 criteria when I'm evaluating a platform to send emails from. Number 1, who made it? Because most email platforms are not made by email marketers; they're made by engineers and tech people.
Oh, very good. Yeah, good point.
You know what I
CRMs
mean?
are same.
Like you're building an email platform where not a single person who had a hand in building that platform, their business is not built on email. It's not a tool they use to grow their own business. They have no skin in the game. They don't understand what works.
Yeah.
But they built an email platform. It's like, why should I trust this platform at all when the customer support agents, the engineers, possibly even like the executive team, none of them have had their business grow or die on the back of an email list.
Hello, home service professionals. Do you want to maximize your marketing budget? Then you need to be using call tracking from CallRail. Let's say you noticed a spike in new leads this month. To find out what's driving them, you just log into your CallRail dashboard. Is my new Facebook ad outperforming my other ads? Or is paid search knocking it out of the park? Or maybe it's time to retire those newspaper ads. Since CallRail assigns a unique phone number to each of my marketing efforts, I know where my best leads come from and which efforts to scrap. CallRail shows you your most cost-effective marketing channels so you can get back to business. Go to callrail.com/SBMpod and try it for free.
Why are you just good at selling the email?
They're engineers, they're tech people. And so you get feature creep, right? Where you get these software platforms that have feature after feature after feature.
That is.
And my big metric is like click to send ratio. How many clicks does it take me to send an email?
Some of the platforms I'll get on and it's like,
I have to click 15 times. It's like they literally don't want you to send emails.
Exactly.
They don't want you to use it for what it's built for.
The test email is always hidden. Like, where's the test email button?
Yeah.
It's hidden.
It's so terrible.
It's your old list.
Yeah.
We go through training of HubSpot with our client success managers, and one of their things training is to learn how to send an email to their little list of customers. We had one that sent to all our customers.
That
It
was
was
me.
like some testing. I had to like apologize to
That's
everyone.
awesome.
So sorry. I know. I don't remember. You might even been the first person to like alert me. Like, hey, did you guys all mean to send this out?
That's
And
awesome.
it wasn't. It was. I don't know. It was something. It was something silly. It was clearly not anything important, but it was part of our training. But I didn't even realize HubSpot had a sandbox account, so we could do that stuff. I found out, and now we have to log into one or the other. But yeah, it's so true though, because that stuff you can send out something that's damaging.
You mentioned three things, reasons they fail. What were they again? Because I don't think I heard one.
Or for what platform to pick?
No. Why email fails?
Oh, yes. So when I talk about why email doesn't work, or people say email's dead, I'm like, comes down to one of three things. One is you have a bad list. And to finish that point, if you buy a list, bad news bears, you're hosed. Like,
Really?
when you go, it drives
You
me
get
crazy.
beat up all the time in my inbox. Like,
Well, I think we were talking
I
like
hate it. These lists are not reliable. They're inaccurate. They're filled with spam
probably
traps
just
and
sprayed
bots.
off the lead
Yeah,
there.
how do you have any idea if it's going to be accurate or not? And then somebody will go add this email list to their database. Like, I just got 10,000 new addresses in my area. I'm like, I'm so sorry. All right.
well, and B2C lists are worse.
They're so bad.
B2B is not bad because they can scrape like LinkedIn profiles and stuff
It'll be
like
much
that
more
actually
reliable.
has something that's active. B2C is
Yeah. Like, if
I
you're
would
running a
not
contracting
recommend any of
business
that.
and you're trying to buy 10,000 addresses or email addresses,
unless
in
it's
your
something
market,
from like a
not going to
like a welcome wagon where people just moved into the neighborhood and they get their thing. Like that might be something worthwhile. But
you should do
that,
postcards if you're going to buy a list.
Yeah.
Like postcard, like I'm a big fan of going from postcard to digital. Like, send out a really great postcard with a link, a QR code, and bring them online. But to buy a list and go straight to emails,
Like put a QR code on the postcard so that collects that email address.
yeah, do a giveaway. Send out a postcard to 10,000 people in your market with some type of, like, we're giving out a brand new air conditioner with IQ products with a year of maintenance and warranties and all this. All you got to do is scan this QR code, enter your email address, and you get, if 5% of that list, so 500 to 1,000 people opt in to win a free air conditioner, you just got 1,000 new qualified, opted in, consenting leads.
well, and I think you said bad list. I think one of your other ones, which we kind of talked about, we just literally transitioned to, is
Bad offers.
if you have a bad offer. Yeah, that doesn't work either.
Yeah, like,
Or
it's
an
just
offer
not
that doesn't make
interesting
anyone
offer.
want to move.
That's right. Because you can have a great list, but nothing you're selling is interesting to them, and they just, like, yeah.
Do you
that's
have to
not-
have an offer in every email? Or is
No.
it bad to have an offer in every email?
No, I think there's direct selling emails, and then there's bonding emails where you're trying to build a relationship. So I use these.
Is there a decent ratio that you've seen for that? I know you probably would never say
For the
like
sake of a
do
sound
6 to
bite,
this, 1 to this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the sake of like a sound bite, I could say, yeah, do 3 to 1. Right? But do three selling emails to 1 nurture email, or vice versa. I literally don't care. For me, it's all about the relationship with the list. Like, the relationship is the primary, most important, number one thing, hands down, no question. I want them to know, like, and trust the name the email is coming from. I want them to think the subject line is really interesting, and I don't want them to know what's coming in the body of the email.
You actually have a really interesting tip about the sender and how to set that up. And actually, it's funny because I had never set mine up for my own email until I started working with Zach. He's like, you should probably do this with a picture and your name and like make it like really easy to see your face. So that way anyone that's
What you're talking about? Because I think I might be lost.
Yeah. Did you? So I was showing in the presentation today how in the Gmail app specifically, there's a profile picture next to every single email you get.
Yes.
And most of the time, it's just like a blank avatar.
or it's like the first letter of your first name.
Yeah, or
You'll be
first
like
letter of your
J
name.
or T or D.
That's
for
right.
Talking about in your Gmail, set up your image in your top right.
That's right. You just literally change the profile picture on your Gmail account,
think some
and it
people-
will automatically connect.
That's the first thing I do when I create a new account.
So it's funny. I finally did it on Slack too, because like sometimes you see people like
That's true.
or click
It
up
wasn't like that.
because you have all these platforms and it has like just the first letter of people's name and then you have multiple people with that and it's like different colors and you're trying to remember who the hell.
See that?
I'm like y'all.
I got you.
I'm like, y'all need to put a headshot in here so I know who I'm talking to and it's really clear for me because I'm like, these are just letters and colors.
Yeah, people underestimate the power of like, who is this message from?
I've seen people put like almost like little gifs or something in
That's
there.
how I learned it, because James Clear, the guy who wrote Atomic Habits, I get his newsletter. It's great. And I noticed every time I got an email from him, this little GIF would appear right there next to the email.
Yeah,
where
catches
his
your
name
eye.
pops in, and then, or his face pops in and then out, and in and out. It's like constantly moving. And I go, you know what? That is genius. Like
Draw attention to
I
it.
should do that. So I put like my picture in with a yellow frame around it. And I started sending emails with that. And I'm like, yeah, this is way more eye-catching now. I have my...
Can you do that from... How do you do that? So can you do it from a...
like from Canva? I just go on Canva and make a GIF and export it.
Does the Gmail connection, if you send it from an email marketing platform, does that carry through? Like when if I send it from my email, it still goes through?
That's right. Because when you go into the email platform, it asks, what email are we sending from?
Yeah.
You put in, in my case, Zac@ZacGarside.com. And then I need to verify that on my end. So you have to add DNS records in, and you have to verify it from your inbox that, yes, this is a correct, good email to send from. You can trust it. I mean, that's huge right now, too, because if you think about this, this is crazy. Up until this February, you could go into most email platforms and say, I could have said, my email is josh@relentlessdigital.com. And they would have had they would not have anything. I could have just sent from that.
Like it could have been phishing email.
I wouldn't have been verified, but I could still
some of those will
say
probably
I'm
still get to
Josh
someone's
in the
inbox. Yeah.
And most people who read emails are not going in and verifying, like, is this really Josh Crouch? It's just, so it's kind of
crazy because like I will quickly hit and slightly suspecting it's spam or some sort of scam. I'll hit the reply button and see where it goes. Like if it,
I've done that before. Yeah, like some really long thing in the subject bar.
Email like report spam.
Yeah, that's a great test actually. I like that.
It'd be if it's the legit company that I think it is, then it's gonna have their. But if it says that it's from Josh at Levis, then that return email address should be probably that, unless they had it to this going somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I always set the reply to email as different than the from. So it'll be like from Zach, reply to, team or marketing at, I'll have a different reply to address.
Even if you have that set up in an alias to your email address, is there a benefit to doing that? Like say team marketing at?
It's just that it doesn't overwhelm the inbox of, if the owner of the company is the person who the emails are coming from, because that's the face and the personality, we don't want the owner to be getting all the replies. First of all, because the owner's probably not going to be responding.
Look at them.
Look at it.
There'll be 1,000 emails in their inbox.
Yeah, it's like somebody take care of this for me.
I'm not there yet. Those still come to me. So if you reply, I'm still the one replying back to you. Maybe someday, life goals.
Yeah.
So what was that? What was that third?
The third thing is just content. Like,
content.
your content is
boring.
And this is my favorite thing to talk about. I call it the educator problem. Because in marketing, there's so much that teaches us we need to educate others with our marketing. We need to teach and enlighten and educate people on the problem and the solutions. But in society, educators don't get paid very much.
Bottom rung of the...
Yeah, that's just how it is. And entertainers do. It has to be entertaining. It has to be interesting to us. If you don't entertain people, and when I say entertainment, some people get like, I could see when I was presenting today, I could see some people in the crowd who were like, I would never send an email.
Hard
that
to
looks like this. Like I would never, pull the Reddit comments in on an email. I'm like, come on, this is such great material. But that kind of entertaining,
but that's why
those
those platforms are so popular.
Reddit is a no-brainer.
Oh my gosh.
So much.
Literally, if you learn nothing else from anything I said today, just spend 10 minutes on Reddit once a week. And I promise you'll find
subreddit
all the marketing material you could possibly
literally
in those
there's
comments.
HVAC subreddits, some home service subreddits, and the things that they ask and say and comment.
Honestly, your entire email marketing strategy as a contractor could be once a week, find a highlight,
find a story of someone on Reddit,
and give your response. This week a YouTuber said this.
That's funny because you mentioned that Roger Wakefield has a massively successful plumbing YouTube channel, and one of the things that one video a week that he does is, I don't know, he called it Roger,
a comment section to dive or something.
He Roger reviews, or he just goes over it. Like he's looking at a video of that somebody posted on YouTube, and it's like a side by side of him looking at watching the video and dissecting it and saying, oh, this company did a really good job, or this company is not a good
I love that.
company.
Yeah. People love that stuff. It's like,
well, that's like,
he's got
people. It's just
1,000 subscribers, 500,000 subscribers.
well, it's the same thing with like TikTok's really popular. Like someone will find a video, some obscure video that nobody's ever really seen, and they'll get their feedback on it. I watched some gym ones where the gym fails and people are like commenting and stuff on it. It's hilarious.
The meta world of TikTok with the TikToks of people responding to TikToks, and it's just like this inception that keeps it.
It's weird, yeah. It is.
Video response on TikTok.
It's weird because it's not in a thread, so like in your feed, stumbles on like, oh, I just watched that video. And this guy's replying to this one.
Well, the TikTok algorithm, wow, you comment on that, and then all of a sudden, like a part 2 of it comes out, or even the response to part 1, and all of a sudden the response is in your grid.
Oh yeah.
It's
Well, I see people like if they have haters in their comments, they'll like put the hater thing up on the, and they'll make a video about.
with the response.
Yeah.
Their
It's like
and
no
engagement.
so easy to come up with content ideas today. If you're just looking, that's the hardest thing. That's what I've realized with
The funny thing is whenever it's called basically when you reply to the video, I was break or somebody did, but the one that when the person replying to the video has like 1 million views and likes to the video that was the original one gets like 1,000.
We call that getting ratioed in the world of Gen Z and millennials.
So, oh man, that sucks. The original, which was great, didn't get any views.
I know.
Yeah, it's when I talk about like you have to entertain people in your marketing emails.
What does that mean?
imperative.
Like when you say entertain,
If it's entertaining to your
people
audience.
overthink it. They're like, I'm not an entertainer. I'm not a comedian. I'm not a this. I'm like,
I mean,
I think about the same thing with video content. Like I create a lot of videos for my company, and then we have this stuff gets repurposed. But like we don't really think about like entertain. I mean, we try to be entertaining on the show, but it's a lot of times in clips that doesn't really get picked up because it's like we're trying to focus on like the really good
on clips, and they're like, you are monotone. I was like, well, listen to the rest of the episode. And it's great for putting people to sleep.
Yeah. So how do you take something that's a good topic, a topic that's still educational, but add some flavor to it?
2 things. One is pay attention to what you pay attention to. Like what entertains you? What entertained you today?
Send in Josh dad jokes.
Josh, you were telling Josh dad jokes? Is that what you did?
I send them to him every day.
Zach, he's automated it with AI.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's not awesome.
I want to be on that
I will
thread.
send it to you.
That's great. My
Okay,
wife
so today's dad joke happens to be Josh. Why'd the bicycle fall down?
It was too tired.
It was too tired.
I've seen this one a couple of times. It's just too tired. You know what's great? So it does and it comes up with hashtags that are related to the dad joke.
Oh my
every
gosh,
time.
this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow, I love this.
I mean, to use AI to entertain.
There you
It
go.
entertains me. It annoys him.
I love this. But like in that, seriously, this is funny. Like it seems like an aside, but legitimately, an HVAC company could very, very easily become known as the company that sends out dad jokes every week.
Yeah. Dad.
You tell a dad
HVAC
joke,
related dad jokes.
and then you put at the end of the joke, you're like, "Here's the joke," and then we say, "All jokes aside, you know what your dad might be able to tell jokes like this, but you know what your dad can't do? He can't fix air conditioners like us." And then you just go to the call to action. Like you can do that once a week, legitimately, and it would be so much better than what every other contractor is doing with their email.
Well, the beautiful.
It's the newsletter. I mean, we were talking about earlier that it's the day and the age of the newsletter, and a lot of them are AI generated. And if you know how to do the AI generated newsletter, it's so simple to spot it when it comes to you. But you're right, and most times it is flat garbage, where it's just pulling in nonsense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, anytime somebody tells me that they're like doing AI generated content, I'm like, I ask, what like industry is this in? And they tell me, I go, well, I'm coming, baby. I'm on my way. If you guys are winning with AI, I am on my way, because I tell you what, I can beat that. But what do you pay attention to? What movies are interesting to you? What did you see today? What did your kids do at the park? What are the little just entertaining moments of the day? And then just use them as metaphors. Like everything is a metaphor for something that you sell.
Thank you to Company Cam for supporting today's episode.
These guys are changing the game for contractors with their smart photo app.
Keep your projects documented and streamline your team's communication with even your most complicated jobs.
Try it for free for 14 days and get 25% off of your first 2 months at companycam.com/SBM.
Tersh, I want to talk about something that's a hot topic in the digital marketing space: missed calls. You were telling me the other day you have a unique way of making sure 100% of your calls are answered. What the heck are you doing?
It's actually really cool. So, we always talk about AI and automation. Well, now I don't have to worry about missed calls anymore because we use Avoca.ai, and it's an AI voice agent. And every time a phone call comes in and say one of our CSRs are busy or even after hours, we've actually completely done away with after hours call center. Avoca picks up the phone and it announces that it's an AI agent. Her name's actually Sarah, and she's really cool. And it's great because every time you get a conversation going, and that entire conversation is transcribed and gets sent to Slack, text message, or onto their dashboard. And then if some of the CRMs that you use that we're using out there, actually, you can book the call through the CRM as well. So that's a really cool thing too. So, I mean, honestly, if anybody hasn't checked this out already, www.avoca.ai.
So guys, if these problems are yours and you want to fix them, head over to www.avoca.ai and discover how they're helping service businesses like yours maximize every lead that you get.
Can you go into the example you did today on stage?
It was really good.
Was that gutsy? Did you guys like that? Was that cool?
I like that. It totally was.
You're like, all right, what's something
that happened to you? Literally anything.
How do you, like, it could be important, just boring,
Yeah,
whatever.
tell me something that happened today.
Well, I think
guys.
the lady in the front table said she forgot her room key, or she lost her room key.
She forgot it. Yeah, she forgot a room key. And then you went to somebody else and asked them what their offer is.
And he came up with an email.
Where are you going with this?
And
When I told my wife I was going to do that, she's like, dude,
you're
are you
opening
sure?
yourself up.
I'm like, no. I've been watching. My biggest inspiration for email marketing and for like how I do public speaking and everything is watching comedians. Legitimately, I love watching comedians. It's just a gift that you can stand on there with no lights, no frill, nothing. You and the microphone, and people are like, make us laugh, dude.
Like Matt Rife.
Yeah.
Rife? He's really good.
He's
He just
great.
picks up in the crowd. And he's just like,
the crowd
yes.
work that he does.
That's where I got the inspiration from.
wild.
Yes. So I was like, I'm going to do this for this presentation. So the whole framework is, I learned from this guy named Jay Kunzo. It's this happened, which made me realize, which means. So something happens, which made me realize this important lesson, which means here's what you should do. So I presented that framework, and then I said, all right, somebody in the audience, tell me something that happened either last night or this morning. Can be anything. I don't care how boring it is. And one lady says,
It was a pretty boring example too.
I left my room key behind.
Lost my room.
I'm like, okay, I left my room key. Somebody else, what's a promotion you're running right now for your business? And someone says, we're running $79 tune-ups. I'm like, great. We have a lost room key over here, and we have $79 tune-ups over here.
As soon as that happened, I'm like, oh.
How's he going to tie that together?
I was thinking to get these two together.
Here we go.
I'm ready for this.
So I paused for a sec. I'm like, this happened, which made me realize, which means this happened. I lost my room key. No idea what to do. I'm at this hotel, and I'm like, oh, crap, I lost my room key. How am I going to get to my room? So I go to the customer service desk, and this was based on my experience because I went to the customer service desk here yesterday. I was like, hi. No one said it. Like, literally 3 of them standing there just ignored me. What is this? So I lost my room key. Nobody's paying attention to me. I think, man, this must be what my customers feel like when their furnace goes out. Boom. There's the connection. This must be what they feel like.
When you
Well,
said
you
that,
know,
I was like, oh, this is getting there. This
So-
is getting good.
Yeah.
Well, and so what I love about frameworks, I did this actually, Dan Martell, one of his newsletters, he had a framework for like video content or something. I took the framework and I uploaded it to ChatGPT and I said, save this framework as the Dan Martell framework. So now I can
just reference it.
Now I reference it. So like
Yeah.
what you said, that's what made me realize, like, kind of combining our talk with AI and how making it better. Like, take a framework of like what Zach just gave you right there, because it's gold. Have it understand a little bit about your business and tell it, okay, this happened. I want to make a meta. You just give it a little bit of context, and
Doesn't even have to be a lot.
It'll probably
Just
blow
a
your
tiny
mind
bit.
what it comes up with too. And it may not be as creative. It's not going to be as creative as a human standing up with a thing and like just come up with the top of their head. But
Yeah.
it'll probably come up with some stuff that at least gets you closer, like 80% of the way there, and you can fill in the last 20%.
Save the rest of what you said, because like even when you said, all right, is this what you how people feel when their furnace breaks?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's good, but there's
You got to get to the call to action now.
How are we gonna how we connect
Yeah.
that
Well,
feeling?
I'm standing
to
at the
to
desk
CPI?
trying to get a new key for my room. No one's paying any attention to me. I'm frustrated. I'm upset at myself. And I realized this must be how my customers feel when their furnace goes out. Here you are on a cold winter night, setting your thermostat to 74, wanting to be nice and cozy in your house, and nothing is happening. It feels like it's 60 degrees in your home. That's why is another great transition phrase. Like, that's why at our company, we make our XYZ guarantee, our family plan guarantee, where every time we come to your home, we're going to get your furnace working so that once you set the thermostat to this, it works exactly at that temperature. If you know your furnace needs repair, reply to this email, give us a call, click this link to get a quote.
Yeah, we have a special going.
Yeah.
This week.
We have a special going. Oh, yeah, you've got till the end of the week, and this special goes away. $79 tune-ups between now and Friday. Reply to get one of the remaining spots for our tune-up schedule.
What I love about the emails and the way you go about emails is you weave the story aspect in there. And the stories are what, like, we're sitting around here talking, everyone's sharing stories at events like this, and it captures that attentiveness. Because we're all like, well, what happened next? Well, what happened next? Except for Tersh's stories. Tersh goes a little too long on stories. And I'm like, what was the point? He weaved 3 stories into one.
DR. Give me the TLDR version of that story.
That's why I just listened to the AI summary of whatever Tersh story. Like, what was the point? Oh, okay, I got it now.
You guys are using AI to talk to each other. It's like, I can't even remember the last time
you should have seen us yesterday, Zach. This was before our presentation because ChatGPT had a new update like last week on your mobile app where like you can pick the voice.
Oh, no.
And then you could like have it talk to you. And it is so empathetic. It is wild.
We had it talking to each other.
We had our phones talking to each other with us like overlaying, so it was like picking up what we were saying and the other AI was saying because it doesn't know the difference.
Awesome.
And it was having a conversation. We're sitting here with our eyes lit.
Have you seen
We had to mute it to stop it from talking to each other.
They would have just kept going.
They would just kept going at it.
Like you could probably.
Have you seen
prompt it.
Notebook LM by Google?
Yes.
Holy cow.
Notebook.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Yes. This thing freaked me out. I was like, oh, this is good. This
It
was
created like a
dystopian to
podcast
me.
from like.
You could give it an article like, hey, here is this article that I found on how to run your business. And Notebook LM will take the article and it will create a podcast out of it. So that you've got these two AI
we
voices.
just use 11 Labs with our voice.
You totally could, right? You've
Sorry,
got
guys,
these two
the
voices.
last live podcast we are
I listened
ever
to
doing.
one the other day. And 2
So
minutes
good.
in, I'm going, I have to remind myself that these are not people. This is AI that is talking to itself in a female and male voice about this piece of content. Very weird. Very weird.
Well, and that was a
good? Was it a good
It,
analysis?
I guess. I don't know. I'm like,
It probably
I'm a
depends on
creative
what you
type.
gave it,
Like I
right?
study this stuff. I try to be engaging and understand what the tricks are. And so, to the untrained ear, it would have been good. But I look for more than just surface level analysis.
Isn't that annoying though?
My brain is forever broken.
Yes.
that you can't
My
just
wife
not,
says
you
that
can't
to
just
me about
unsee
emails.
it.
She's like, I can't even read marketing emails anymore because of you. Like, here.
It's like me listening to an audio version of something, and I'm like, 5 seconds. 5 seconds of editing, and this could have been
So
a
much
million
better.
times better.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Well, but that's it's funny because I think, and we had our talk on the main stage yesterday about AI and automation, and we continue to try to talk about and spread the word and get people to like at least start taking it seriously and spending time on it. And these things we're talking about, like I think people still think it's 5 years, like, oh, it's early, it's 5 years down the line. Literally, we're like months from having where you're not going to know if it is AI voice or not. You will not know. It's pretty close now. The only thing is most of the voices have they have usually a lot of them are like different accents and, that sort of thing. But like Tersh has recorded some stuff using 11 Labs and he sent it to me. And the only thing, it was like an enunciation of one word. I could tell it wasn't him. Other than that, I'm like, I text him back. I'm like, dude, that sounds really good, except I don't know why you said this word so funny. Because I thought he actually did. He didn't tell me he recorded his voice. But we are not, like...
You couldn't tell it other than that one word. And that one word, I changed the spelling on that so many times to try and get is Rilla. And R-I-L-L-A.
It's not a normal word. So...
Yeah.
And so I spelled it R-E-E-L-A.
You gotta do like like in the dictionary, you gotta do like the what do they call it? The
enunciation of it.
Yeah. And it's wild though. But that's the thing I try to challenge business owners with, because you know what they want to do? They want to try to like use AI to write an email, something that's a little more personal. I'm like, do the things that somebody can't do for you, like even if you don't want to be on video, right? If you want to create videos but not be the face, at least use your voice. Create a video. Have someone edit a video. Do things that are extremely difficult for somebody else to do for you, and let other people do those things until you want to take them over yourself or whatever. But I'm not telling you like you can't do everything yourself, but don't do the things that are already being done by professional. Do the things that will actually help you grow organically through video. Because literally, Tersh and I come to these events and like, we see you guys everywhere. I'm like, yeah, that's by design. We want to be on every channel and create content.
They tell us like, oh yeah, y'all must be really busy doing this stuff. I see y'all everywhere.
And when we get email,
I don't know where you see it.
Do you know how many?
We have videos for all of it.
When my customers or even people on the email list email me back, oh, I know you're so busy, because they see our stuff everywhere.
They
just assume we're literally everywhere.
Do my daily activity.
Yeah.
And my calendar, Josh is always like, just pick a time. Tersh is free.
Tersh is free.
I know when Tersh is free. Not Wednesdays, any other day, just pick it up.
Yep.
Tersh is free. Yeah. But we have learned how to, not 100%, but how to properly delegate and automate things. And
even
things like what you're talking about. Well, Josh is going to do you doing email marketing, and so like for me, I'm not a creative. Like how you came up with that, that's all. That's not my personality.
Well,
I would have been up there stuttering with everything else.
I wouldn't have trusted myself to think on the spot, because I'm not not quick-witted. I can think of stuff, but it takes me a minute.
I always think of things about 5 minutes after the conversation's over.
And they're like, oh, I wish I would have said that.
I should have told. Oh, I would have shown them. Yeah.
If I listened to say this.
Well, with Zach talked about putting branding in a voice and having some sort of a voice that's not just a monotonous thing in your emails. But like, what's so great? We're talking kind of mixing up stuff here with AI and all this other stuff. But you can take someone like Zach or someone on your team creates really great emails. Take that email, now turn it into a video script. Now turn it into a social media post. Like you could repurpose all those things.
You ever have just a killer email?
Yeah, I go back to my wife after each long day at work. I say, man, sweetie, I wrote this banger today for this heating and cooling company.
She's probably like,
and she goes,
rolling her eyes.
You read emails from them now. Let's. I wrote a banger for this company. You should have seen when I walk in the room. Banger is my favorite word for this stuff. I'm like, I wrote a banger. She's just, please stop it. It's like, stop saying.
Please stop.
Please stop. Oh, I gotta find some way to make it sound cool. No, I mean, when something works, right? It's like, just say that.
Does it work perfectly in one scenario and then just crash and burn?
All the time, yeah. Well, yeah, of course. I mentioned earlier, like if you have a bad list, I can send something to one list that pulls really well and something to another list that just bombs. That's why when people, the hardest question for me to answer is, what results should I expect from email marketing? I go,
it's like branding question.
Yeah, it depends on how good your list is. It depends on how good you are at selling and following up. There's so many factors that go into it.
Depends how good your service was. Yeah, maybe they hate you and don't ever want to hear from you.
Nobody wants to hear that, but I can guarantee. Here's bottom line: is email costs you nothing to do. Most contractors already have some way to send them.
Are you saying that you're free?
I mean, no. If you want me, I'm expensive. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that expensive. Am I? Yeah, I'm expensive. I don't know. I'll let individual contractors be the judge of if I'm expensive or not. But like just to do it yourself, this happened, which made me realize, which means do that once a week to your list, whether you have Marketing Pro or MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or whatever platform you have. Send an email once a week, and if it doesn't work, keep doing it anyway, because somebody is going to have a broken air conditioner at one point. They're going to see it in their inbox. They're going to call you.
How do you fix your list if it's broken?
So the first thing is you have to scrub it. And when I say scrub, there are lots of services where you can literally give them a CSV file of your list, and they will go through it and cross-reference it with like existing databases and make sure, let's find the ones that are spam traps that like literally will just flag you for spam automatically. Let's find which ones are fake.
Hey, what do you mean by that?
So have you ever had an email list or CRM where all of a sudden you got like 100 leads one day and they were all from really ambiguous, weird names. You guys ever had this happen before?
Just not announced. No, I've
every once in a while.
evolved in email
I guess if you're running, it's really like if you're running paid advertising, this happens a lot of the time. So if somebody's running ads on Facebook or Google, it's fairly common for, one day you're going to get 500 leads. You're like, whoa, look at this. And then you look at the email addresses and they're these very obscure combinations of names and numbers at Yahoo, at Hotmail.
We made some tweaks to our Google Ads campaign for Relentless and opened up like the Google search network. And all of a sudden I was getting all these form submissions. At first I'm like, oh, this is like cool. And then I go look and I'm like, oh, free Gmail didn't fill out the rest of the form. Free Gmail didn't fill out the rest. I'm like, okay. I'm like, let's tone after a week, I'm like, let's get rid of that because it's really annoying.
They were trying to hack my website or something because I had the.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly.
Like, what in the world is this nonsense?
Yeah.
And then
they don't always come in waves
mandatory.
Like that. Sometimes it'll just be one, and you won't catch it.
Yeah.
But it'll happen consistently over time to the point where you have a couple hundred or 1,000 or more email addresses on your list that are just nothing. So you've got to get those out. A lot of times those can be bots or they can be spam traps that people lay to literally just like mark you as spam. Like I don't think this probably happens very much in this industry, but if you've got like a really malicious competitor, right? They could set up an automatic email that just marks you as spam every time you pop up in their inbox. Kind of like sometimes people
will
will
respond to it, like or
negative review bombing on Google or something, for example. That's probably a more common example in trades. It can happen with email too. It happens in e-commerce a lot where someone will set up a bot email account, they'll subscribe to your list and mark you as spam every time you show up because they want to hurt your deliverability. Yeah.
Wow. These people just need to, if they just put their attention towards something positive, they get so much further in life.
But yeah, download a CSV of your list, go to neverbounce.com or there's several other services.
Unbounce, I think, is another one.
Maybe it is Unbounce.
Unbounce. Yeah, I think it's Unbounce.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Search Unbounce and Neverbounce.
I don't know why the hell I looked
If
at
it's
you.
Neverbounce, Josh owes me $5. If it's Unbounce, I'll take $5 off Josh's next invoice. And you just like give them your list, you pay a fee, and they'll scrub it and be like, here's all the ones that are legit, here are the ones that are not legit.
And then upload those into your platform.
Yeah. And then don't even start emailing all of them right away. Just break it up into chunks. Like we're going to send to these 500 people who've done business with us in the last 3 months first. And then we'll work in the next 500 people and just do it based on the last time you had a serious interaction with the email.
Oh, okay. Now, what had to zip this day in out of the year or sure?
Say
this.
I kind of change my opinion on this all the time, but basically moral of the story is you can still email them. I would break up your list into who have you actually done business with recently, start emailing them first, and slowly work in the later email addresses over time. And when you work them in, do a warm-up campaign with them that basically says, hey, this is John. We did service on your air conditioner a year ago, 6 months ago, 5 years ago. You've never gotten emails from me, but we're going to start sending out tips on XYZ. If you don't want them, just click the unsubscribe button below. If you do, you're going to be able to use these tips to save money on your energy bill, increase the efficiency of your air conditioner, and get general home improvement tips.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Service Business Mastery. Now that you are equipped with essential business advice from this impactful conversation, you are one step closer to becoming the successful owner of your dreams. If this episode has been helpful to your business journey, don't forget to subscribe to the show, leave a rating, and share it with other owners as well. Visit ServiceBusinessMastery.com to learn more.